Hi, it's Ashleigh from Sweet Dreams Bake Shop, and today we are celebrating the Canadian wilderness by making some of these cookies. So to do this crackle method, all you have to do is lightly brush on some white food gel. Now I will say that it does depend which type of food gel you use, because I've used some other brands and it didn't quite work out so well. Make sure that you also paint things nice and thin. So this is Watercolor food gel in white. And I should also mention you need to do this before your cookies bake and then just bake them as you usually do. While those are in the oven, I'm going to begin piping and flooding these cookies here. Now I'm using my pipe and flood consistency. If you don't know what that is, you can go ahead and check this in the right-hand corner. These smaller ones are going to be my Woodgrain pattern, so I'm just using a really light brown. You want to keep this super light so that when you brush on the Woodgrain pattern, it shows up. Time to check out our Crackle cookies, and look, they've turned out so beautifully. And now what I've done is I've drawn a little silhouette of a bear. Sorry I didn't catch myself actually piping that, but I needed my phone to actually look at the drawing of the bear. And now what I'm doing is I'm filling all the rest in with my pipe and flood consistency so that all I am left with is a crackled silhouette of this beautiful bear. I'm going to do this crackled silhouette with black, and I'm going to fill the whole thing in with black with a bear paw kind of silhouette. You could really use this method for anything that you want. I really love the idea of using the crackle as the silhouette base. Now moving on to some super easy peasy trees. What I like about this too is that if you're not that comfortable with piping yet, you can still make these look really good, because the messier the better. So the consistency that I'm using for this tree trunk is my pipe and flood consistency, but honestly you could use just piping icing too if that's what you prefer. This green here is quite thick, so I could actually pipe leaves if I wanted to with this green, but instead I'm just doing some squiggly lines. You'll probably notice that little green splotch all over there. Honestly, friends, I was doing this at around, I think, 10 o'clock at night, so I was pretty tired. I had already been go the whole day at my daytime job, so I was just kind of trying to finish this up. And you guys know me, I don't really do orders. This was just a little favor for a friend, and I waited way too long to do it because I had to wait until the kitties were asleep. So I'm sure you've all been there before, where you had to get started on an order and you just were super tired. So that's where I was at with this order, but I was actually still enjoying it. It was just that, you know, when you're tired, you tend to make more mistakes. It looked really striking, just black and white, but I wanted to add a little bit of an extra something, so I added the grass and these edible candy rocks. Now I'm going to add a little bit of snow to my trees, and I did wait until this royal icing was fully set and dry. If you want to know how I dry my cookies really quickly, go ahead and check out that link in the right hand corner. And then I'm taking some pipe and flood white icing, and I'm just kind of brushing it on there haphazardly to make it look like snow. Now for the fun part, I wanted to do something with watercolors, so I'm just taking some edible food gel this time because I don't have any airbrush in this color, and then I watered it down with quite a bit of vodka. This helps get you that nice watercolor texture that you're looking for. I also should make note that you never want to paint on a wet cookie because what ends up happening is cracking and then all of your paint starts seeping into the cookie, so you do want to make sure that everything is fully dried. I very much felt like Bob Ross as I made these little mountains here, and you really just want to get creative with it. If you want it to look more kind of abstract, which is what I was going for, then go ahead and use the same color palette. I think it looks really good when you just kind of stick to one palette. So the darker blues I'm going with and a little hint of green, and that just brings it all together for me. And I'm not just gonna leave well enough alone, so I'm adding a little bit of grass texture to here as well, just to make things pop out a little bit more. I was getting stationery vibes as I was piping this happy birthday on here. I don't know about you guys, but we have a lot of stationery that kind of looks like this in Canada. Venturing back to that wood grain pattern, I know it took us a little while to get back here, but I'm just showing you how I do this in the exact order that I do it in. So what you want to do is you want to take some airbrush, or you can just use edible food gel with a little bit of vodka mixed in, and then you want to take a brush that's fairly bristly. So I wanted something that actually didn't meld all together. I wanted it to stay fairly apart, which this brush does. And then you want to dip in to that food gel or your airbrush color and brush it on very haphazardly. The messier, the better. And you want those brush strokes, so make sure that you don't layer on that color too thick. Then after I'm done all that, I just go in with a little bit of gold just to add in that variance. And this is not a shiny gold, it's just a matte gold. Add a few little notches with my edible pen, and then I brush over it again just to make sure that it all melds together. And then you're free to do whatever you want with this wood grain pattern. I want to put a silhouette on top, so I'm doing a little silhouette of a deer. Because you are doing something that is fairly detailed with this silhouette, you do want to make sure that you use pipe and flood consistency, but it does have to be a little bit more specific than if you were just filling up a cookie. So you do want to make sure it's on the slightly thicker side of pipe and flood consistency. Time for a little bear silhouette. And if you're not super comfortable with piping yet, you could always do just these little antlers here, and I think it looks just as striking. It was around 12 in the morning when I finally finished these, and I was exhausted. But when I woke up to these beautiful cookies in the natural daylight, it was all worth it. I should also mention that I added on silver pearls for the stars. Now let's get into the pricing. Now, of course, there is going to be a range in pricing. So those trees would be that lower price and all of my silhouettes and everything else would be the higher price because obviously you're doing a lot of painting and a lot of other different techniques as well. This little bear here is the favorite of the bunch. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can be part of the Sweetie fam. Right now, I'm uploading daily, so make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. Also, be sure to comment, request, or ask a question. I love hearing from you guys. Bye!